Hello? I do not like that. Hello? Can everyone hear me? Yay. So, I guess I'll wait the last minute. Make sure. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys, first of all, for being here. I know it is, whoa, did not expect that to happen. I know it's very early in the morning, and most people have a lot to do on Saturdays, so we definitely thank you for being here. Can I see where the sign-in sheets are at? Can you hold them up? Did everyone sign in? Yes, no? Can I see a hand for no's? Okay, so continue to pass it down on that side. If we can send them all to the front, I will collect them. All good. Okay, so my name is Miss Jasmine Walker, and I'm the Scholar Support Manager with Merit. I've been chosen to give this speech to you today and introduce you to the program because if your student is accepted, I am the person that you will be communicating the most with because I am here to help for the social support and be a liaison between the family, the student, and the organization. So how many of you have heard anything about Merit before your kid brought it home? A little bit? Awesome. So this is what we do. So our goal is to transform Baltimore City High School students into healthcare leaders. So what does that even really mean? Healthcare leaders seems kind of broad, abstract. Well, we know that students want to be doctors, nurses, physical therapists, do research, all in the medical field, and their school doesn't necessarily offer them all the resources they need. So they may have the coursework, but they may need a mentor. The coursework may not be on par with all the other kids across the country that they're competing with. So our organization helps students who are really bright, really hardworking, become healthcare leaders, and we try to make sure that they choose a career path that is a good fit for them. For instance, some of our students come in and the only health career they know is a doctor or a nurse, but there are so many different options in the healthcare field, especially related to public health and research and all these different things. So I'm going to tell you more about what we actually do to expose your students to all these different opportunities that are out there and how we help them reach that goal. So what is Merit? We're an honors program for students interested in medicine and health. So how do we accomplish this? We have Saturday sessions and activities. All of our sessions are mandatory. This program is a huge commitment for 3 years. So each year, I believe they get one excused absence, one unexcused absence. It's important for them to be here because the material that we're teaching them will take them to the next level. Most times students do not like us because they're not used to getting D's and F's and different things that they will experience in this program, but we're showing them first year med school curriculum. We're showing them junior, senior, collegiate level health sciences material. And so it takes them a little time to learn how hard the material is, but all of our students drastically improve and we teach them the skill sets they need to be successful in college. We're not really worried about high school. Yes, we'll help them right now in high school, but we're preparing them to kick butt in college, graduate, come back to Baltimore and be that doctor, that nurse, that CEO of a hospital, all these different things. So they also get paid summer internships. We know that there are financial barriers and that money motivates kids. Money motivates a lot of people in general. And so we know that the summertime that the students usually work. So we have 5-week paid internships. They shadow in their first year about 20 doctors over that first 5-week period. And then their second summer, they work with a research lab one-on-one. So there's usually 1 to 2 students with 2 to 3 researchers, and they get paid for both of those summers and do really good projects and get to present their work at our health symposium. And finally, we have year-long support and mentoring. So we're not just a program that's here for the school year, here for the summertime. You're never going to hear from us. You will hear from us all the time. I'm going to let you know that right now. We become a second family to our students. So even if it's not school related, we're like, okay, we want to see what's going to push you to the next level. What are you interested in doing in your community? Oh, great, you have an idea. Let's figure out how to make that idea a plan. Okay, we saw that in your first year in Merit, you were interested in cancer research. Have you done anything with that? No. Okay, well, let's figure out something along the way. I personally have a very big family, and it takes consistent pushing and having someone consistently showing up in your life and pushing you to that next level in order for you to be successful. I really love this program because it's not just about making sure you're good. We want all our students to be great, and that takes a lot of consistent work on our end, but also from your end. Sometimes your students, we see when they hit around the age 16, 17, they get this little attitude where they kind of think they know everything, and we are a great help with that, being a liaison between the family and the parent, and kind of knocking them a few steps down and putting them back into reality. We hope that you will support us in that effort in teaching them skills as far as character building. That is where I really come in. I know that they're smart and they can learn the curriculum, but it doesn't matter if you show up with a bad attitude, if you're not dressed. People perceive who you are when you first show up. They make judgments and have opinions about you within the first 3 seconds of seeing you. So we want to teach our students how to have character and show up ready so that people can receive what they have to say. That's that. So what do we actually do? So longitudinal mentoring. Our staff is pretty small. There's only 7 of us. But we have a gang of mentors, interns that, let's see, what's the number? It's about 200 of them. And your student will get a mentor that is a graduate student in healthcare. So some students are in public health, some students are in medical school, and some students are in nursing school. We're expanding to the School of Engineering and different things, but this is someone that they can turn to for help with homework, to talk about life and what's going on at school, and to, one thing we're really trying to have our mentors do is build a relationship with the family so that they can fill in where the parents can't. For instance, we want to expose them to colleges a lot, and so that means traveling to different places, and we know you guys have to work, and you may have other children, so our mentors have really stepped up and taken the kids on college tours outside of what we can provide. On top of that, taking them to different opportunities to do research or connecting them to opportunities related in the healthcare field so they can get money and more exposure. So that's where our mentors step in, and they have that mentor for about a year and a half. But even after their mentor leaves from them, they still have access and connections to them. When they go to college and different things, they can still call them. One of the big skills we teach is networking. Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you want to be. So there's a different language you may have to speak with having a mentor relationship. It's not about being buddy-buddy. It's about having people that are going to help you develop and grow. And so we really work on that for a year and a half and teaching students how to know what they want, know what they need, and how to work in a mentoring relationship to get to that. What else is on here? So the internships in hospital and laboratories, like I said, your students will shadow over 20 doctors. In addition to that, we know that so that part is set. All the students shadow essentially the same 20 doctors. But for instance, say your student is interested in being a veterinarian. They will work with me and tell me that they have that interest, and we will find a veterinarian for them to shadow. Or say they're interested in physical therapy or sports medicine, some different health career opportunities that they won't see in that 20 out of those 20 physicians. So we definitely want to expand and increase our exposure. So as long as they're vocal about what they want, we tend to meet the need as long as they put in the work. And we are not sending them unprepared. They're going to complain to you about all the homework that they're getting from Merit and different things, but all the work they're doing is preparing them for what they're going to do in the hospitals in the research setting. What else is on here? So Saturdays, college prep classes. I actually teach the seniors right now, they get hands-on support. We require our seniors to apply to 10 colleges, and with that being said, we help them from start to finish. So they apply to all 10 colleges while they are here in the fall of their senior year. So we do FAFSA, we help them write their supplemental essays, personal statement, and they get one-on-one support. So our class sizes are about 10 students per class. I don't know if you guys saw some of them, but they're in the big classrooms where you can see in the window. So there's about 10 students in each class, and there's one instructor and 2 teacher assistants. So that's like 3 to 10. So the students get a lot of hands-on support in the classroom, and they're here from 9 to 1 is when they actually have class. So it's a 70-minute period. But students can also stay after and get coaching help. So that college support, a lot of our parents right now are telling us, well, we don't know what they need from the school. I've called so many schools about different things, and this Naviance thing, I don't know how y'all deal with that, but I don't like it. But Naviance, College Board, seeing what they need for FAFSA. So we have been through this process, and everyone that's related to Merit, a friend of Merit, has been through the process, and we know how to get it done. So we pass that information on and help them along the way. So that is what happens. Also on Saturdays during their junior year, it's all SAT prep. So the organization that delivers the SAT is called, I should know the name of this, and I'm blanking on it right now. Anyways, that organization takes all of the data from our students when they take the PSAT, and they make us a customized curriculum for them in their junior year. So it's hard, it's a lot of work, and it's skill set practice, but SAT is really important because that's what brings in the money senior year when they're applying to colleges. And then finally, in their sophomore year, they take a rigorous health science curriculum. So they take a course on health, race, and society and learn the connection between health, race, society, and medicine. Love that course. They also take anatomy and physiology. In addition to that, we have a coding class where they learn about engineering and coding. And this year, our students made prosthetic limbs for stuffed animals, and they really, really enjoyed it. And then finally, college admissions and guidance. I always tell the kids, it sounds really good when you get accepted to Harvard, to Johns Hopkins, to Emory, to one of these top tier schools, but it's about what's a good fit for you and where you're going to be successful. College is hard, and a lot of students have not had the experience of going to some of these institutions that are not made for them to succeed. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's not a lot of support for first-generation college students. I've been there. I was one. And you have to be able to make your own way. And you have to be really strong, not only in your academics, but socially and emotionally. And so my job here is to make sure that students are choosing schools that are a good fit for them. And sometimes parents would have to help you give up a little bit or compromise on the dreams that you had for your students because it's about what's best for them. This is the best way I can put it. We all like to shop. Everybody loves to shop just a little bit. You know, you go and you see that great pair of shoes, those beautiful pair of pants, and then you try it on and it's just not working for you. And you go to a different store and you find something else, and maybe it wasn't as what you thought you would like, but you try it on and it feels good, it looks good, you're feeling yourself. So we want our students to have the same experience. We don't want you out here in a size 6 shoe and you have a size 8 foot. It's not gonna work. It's gonna be really uncomfortable, and we are not worried about just getting in. A lot of organizations focus on getting kids to college. Our goal is for you to graduate and become a healthcare leader. You cannot do that if you do not finish college and go to the next level. So we are really future oriented and try to get the kids' mind set on that. Like, it's not just about this one step in the process. So what do they actually do? Students get a lot of hands-on opportunities. So in this picture, these are some of our scholars in their anatomy and physiology class. So learning things about the brain, This is a human brain they're working with, and learning things about the brain is really complicated and hard, and most people just look in the diagrams in a book. Our students actually get to work with human brains. We have a very good connections with Hopkins Medical School, and so one of their professors teaches our anatomy and physiology class, and in there, they get to essentially play with human brains and learn the lesson at the same time. This machine right here is called the Da Vinci. It is a $6 million machine used for brain surgery, heart surgery, any kind of microscopic moving. And the students got to use the machine. Fun fact, there's only 10 of them in the United States of America. One of them is at Hopkins, and all of our students got to work on their fine motor skills and use this machine with the guidance of some doctors. They were not working on any patients or anything that was alive. I think they were moving like toothpicks or something really fine and small to mimic a very difficult surgery with very small parts in the body. And this is the second summer where they do research. So they'll be doing wet lab research, which is a lot of pipetting and working with drug creation and different things like that, or working with biological mechanisms. And so we expose them to the front end where you're actually interacting with patients. But we know that some students don't like to interact with people, and that's not their thing. And so we want to show you what happens behind the scenes a little bit too on the research end, because we know the students are brilliant, but we want to make sure you're in the right environment to succeed. So a lot of students really learn a lot about research and like it. And this is just more about the different paid internships that I was telling you about earlier. So one thing that we focus on is, why do we do the work that we do? Why does this organization even exist? Why is it important to work so hard right now? So this student was talking about her summer internship and how she got to see a baby being born, and then throughout the summer she went to continue to see the family and build the relationship. And so in Merit, we focus on, yes, this is a difficult path and you have to be on top of your game as far as your grades and different things, but we don't want you to become so detached, so thinking you're up here that you forget about the people that you're connecting with. And so when we give you 5 hours of homework per night and you're feeling defeated, we ask you, but what's your why? Why are you doing this? This isn't about you. This is about helping the people that you love and care about in the city that you're from. And that always pushes them to continue to go down this road in this process, because it's not easy to commit to this at, I believe your students are about 13 or 14 or 15, that range, 14, 15, okay, 15, 16, a little bit higher, sorry. This is about a 10 to 15 year process. So we're asking you, when you're 15 and 16, to make a commitment for the next 10 to 15 years. You've only been alive that long. And some students don't really understand what they're getting themselves into, and that's okay. As long as you got heart and a little bit of brain, we can help you out along the way. So we always have these moments where we are humanizing this experience. It's not only about the science, it's not only about the medicine, it's about the people you're serving at the end and making them better and making yourself better along the way. So one thing that I really love is that we take a college tour. So this is during spring break, and we take your kids on an all expenses, full paid college tour. We start in Maryland and go all the way down to Atlanta and visit 14 colleges along the way. We're not asking your students to choose a school, but we're showing them the different type of schools. So when they come back in their senior year, they have legitimate reasons for choosing a school. Not that they have a cool sports team or that they saw something on their website. Like, no, we actually take them to the college. They get to experience some of the courses, meet some of the students, see what the faculty is like, different stuff like that, so they can know if it's a good fit for them. And then this is the whole point. So when students ask me why we kick their butts, I say that all of our students get full rides in their senior year at offers. Some of them don't take them, and that's okay, and that's up to them, but they get offered full rides. On top of that, on average, our students receive $243,000 in scholarships. That's average. Some students last year received 1.5 or more $1 million in scholarships. So we kick your butt right now, and you have to sacrifice right now, But last time I checked, when we do the math, they're making about, $85,000 a year if we break this down into yearly salaries and for 3 years. I mean, that's not a bad payoff to me. And so this is why we kick their butts right here, because we get results. So they receive that much money in scholarships. On top of that, all of our students get 100% acceptance to four-year universities. And then finally, like, it's at no cost to them. So we understand the position that they're in, and we don't want them at the end of the day to do all this work, and then you get to a situation where you have this opportunity, but you don't have the money to do it. So that is not the type of business that we're in. We are really focused on finding them money to go to school and be successful in school so they can focus only on school and not on finances when they go there. And we do not want to put that burden on their parents to make sure that they have money for college. We also give them opportunities to win other awards. So this picture up here, we have the 5 girls. They presented their research at a conference that we took them to, and they all won money. That was not necessarily for college. We encourage them to save it for college, but we take them to other opportunities throughout Baltimore to get experience, win awards, so their name is out there as they go throughout this process. In addition to that, these are 3 of our seniors from last year, and they all got full rides to these schools. And the tuition at Brown and Hopkins, I believe, is $65,000 a year. So all expenses paid for 4 years. Yeah, so our students bring in the money. I really like that part. And how do we accomplish that? So another growth that we like to show is SAT. So they do a lot of prep during their junior year, and our students increase 200 points on average. That is really hard, but if they put in the work, they will get out the results. On top of that, one of the students from last year increased over 400 points. So it's possible to make the change if you put in the work. So this is my last slide. So my role as the Scholar Support Manager is to manage all these different aspects, the family, the mentors, the advisors, and then finally me, to make sure your students are supported inside and outside of the classroom and in merit. We love our students, and we are in their lives for a very long time. So we're so happy to have all your students here applying. With that being said, everyone that is here today, your students will not be accepted into our program over this 3-day tryout period. We start with 60, and we only bring 35 in. And it is a huge commitment, once again, a huge commitment, but it's worth it. So now I'm going to open the floor for questions.
What are the qualifications for you to pick what are the qualifications for you to pick the kids that are accepted into the program?
Got it. So over this 3-day tryout period, we are looking to see that students have intellectual curiosity, that they're hardworking, that they persevere when faced with hardships, that they have a little bit of character, that they're coachable, and then the final one is teamwork. So we're grading them on like these 6 different areas, and they're told exactly what we're looking for upstairs as they're going throughout this process. What it usually boils down to is not that your student isn't qualified for the program, but all the students, so the original process, this year we had 137 applications. So out of that 137, we cut down to 60. And then after that 60, we have to cut down to 35. We have limited resources, and so we choose students who hit those categories because we know that we can take you from point A to point Z in our program. Does that answer your question? Got it. Intellectual curiosity, we measure that. So this, I'm going to give you a little bit, but I can't tell you exactly how to make your student. Got it. So intellectual curiosity, we measure that in a couple of ways. So one, we ask your student to write an essay about what they spend their time getting lost doing, and seeing that they made it to this step in the process, they have shown a little bit of enough of intellectual curiosity. In addition to that, when we ask them to do a task, we don't necessarily tell them exactly how to do it, but we give them a whole bunch of resources. So there are verbal resources where they communicate with a person. We give them websites and different things so they can do their own. We also tell them to communicate with different colleagues and other scholars. So we tell them the process, but we don't tell them what they need to know or how to get there to see how they overcome that challenge and create the end product. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So our question is, do other extracurricular activities have to be dropped? Mm-hmm. So most of our students are involved in a lot of other activities at school. So that is why during the school year, we do not take up time Monday through Friday. So if your student is in a sport, sometimes we have issues on Saturdays, but that's my job to coordinate with the school and make sure that there's transportation and they're getting places on time and getting everything that they need for merit. But we have scholars that are on football teams. One of our students is the cheerleading captain at Poly. Other students are president of different organizations. So we want them to do things outside of merit, and we encourage them to do it, but we want to make sure that they're still on top of their game here. So during the school year, that's only on Saturdays, and during the summer, it's a 5-week period. So then they still have another 5 weeks to do whatever they want. So we are going to email you the exact schedule, but essentially it's every Saturday, give or take, like with holidays, and then we try to stay away from their testing periods. So when they have finals or prom, like different things where we know they just aren't going to show up, and where they need to put their energy somewhere else. So we are very sensitive about their other schedules, but we give that to you up front. I believe we even have it planned out like 2 years in advance. So we give you the exact dates. Mm-hmm. So that's in the summertime. Mm-hmm.
First thing I wanted to speak about is one excuse absence and one unexcused absence. For kids who have asthma or other things going on that's medically related,
Mm-hmm.
how is it that you're, I'm just curious, how is it, you specifically said that. So how do you guys deal with that when a person is medically, you may have asthma or things of that nature, so I'm just curious.
So when it's medically related, the good thing we have is we're directly connected to Hopkins Medical School and many physicians. So if it's something asthma related and we see that this is an issue and the student discloses that to us, it's my job to figure out how can we get you to our programming. And so figuring out if we can connect you to some better resources to improve your attendance and remove the obstacle. Because anything health related, we should be able to hop on top of that and help them so that they can be here. But what I'm talking about as excused and unexcused absences are things like, so family vacations. So some students, like we give you the days in advance, and this is like the biggest pushback is I'm going on family vacation, and you have to sacrifice. So yes, that is exactly what I am saying. So we give you the dates in advance. to let you know exactly the time periods and different things. But that's something that's kind of not negotiable because the programming, the programming over the summer period is one of the most important parts. So if they're missing 1 week, that's missing shadowing 5 doctors. And so it is like the foundation of our program for them not to miss, especially that summer period.
What about the other activities? He plays basketball for the school and he plays in the league.
So he plays like AAU or like traveling. Got it. Once again, our program is a priority, and we teach it early on that you have to make tough decisions. We're pouring a lot of resources into your students, and I can go back to the slide where we get results. Mm-hmm. So it seems like every situation is pretty individualized. Our goal is not to make this program difficult for your student or have them miss out on other opportunities. So say for instance your student is involved with a scholarship program that's directly related to his funding to stay in his high school, we will work with them and figure out a schedule. So I'm not saying that there is no way and that we're not flexible, but our program is the priority, and we do work and coordinate with other programs throughout the schools, and we have good relationships with the schools, and they know our program, and they know how we work, and so maybe it's a back and forth type thing. For every student, it's different. So I know students who are currently in our program and have been in our program for 3 years, and their schedule and merit looks a little bit different, and they may have to come different days, and we may come to your house to teach them a lesson or something like that, but it's possible for them to do everything. The idea is that we want everything up front because we know what type of works it takes for our program to work and what time that you have to put into it. If you don't do it, you don't get the results, and we just don't want to waste our time or the students' time. Exactly.
One of these parents who have situations that are just not fitting into the norm. So in that case, it's an individual case by case where I would imagine they would come to you. You're the
Exactly.
liaison. They would come to you and discuss their situation with you, and that you and the family and the child will come to some decision as to what's going to work best, so that they don't lose anything.
Exactly.
They're going in their regular school, and that they accomplish everything they have to accomplish here in this program. It's going to be some tough negotiation, but it sounds like you're willing to work with the family to do those things because it's happened in the past.
Yes.
This isn't the first
This isn't the first time we've had these.
I really admire everything I'm hearing because what I just experienced with my other grandson. He got the scholarship, the football scholarship from school, and sent them off to university. 2 days before the first class starts, he signs himself out and just come get him. He didn't have the mental, he didn't have the support. Coach, he had coach from high school, now he got a coach from university. He didn't have that support to prepare him like what you're offering. And I'm just like, oh God, because all that money to buy all that stuff and get him up and this thing, and it was just, whew. Now he's home talking about, well, I'm gonna go to college here, and can you co-sign for a car? So what I'm saying is all that support, and like it is, and it is different. But like I'm saying, to win that scholarship for that football, and then you get to the university and like, I don't know, it's foreign to me. I had no support here. I don't know nobody here.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this. All I knew was I'm a running back.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So-
that's why what Jasmine said was so,
Profound. It's
yeah,
so
for all of
profound.
us parents to realize that while we all are excited about the big schools, et cetera, at the end of the
At
day,
the end of the day.
it becomes what's the right fit for our child and for them, and I'm so glad that you said that.
And our particular programming is focused on their first 3 years, but we stay with them throughout college. I've made phone calls to students like, hey, what's going on with your grades? Oh, I'm doing good. Oh, I already talked to your counselor, and what's going on? Like, you have C's. You don't get C's. Do you need a tutor? Can we connect you to someone in the program? When they come home, we're making sure that we know that they have different types of friends that may have not been on the same path as them, so making sure they're focused when they come home and staying out of trouble is a big thing. And sometimes students are, like books in college, especially for health sciences, are pretty expensive. I know in my experience, I was paying $300 for one book, and I had 5 or 6 courses. And so teaching students how to join different organizations that will give you the books for free, how to maybe not go the most legitimate ways of getting the things you need for school, but teaching them how to be resourceful. So I really understand your point about the sports and other opportunities, but the thing is with merit, we understand that you have to give up other things, but we take that into account. If you're willing to give up stuff for us, we're going to find you everything you need for school to be successful. So if you're really good at sports, okay, you're really good at sports, but let's talk about how many people actually make it to a level where they're making good money. So you're interested in sports, let's talk about sports medicine. Let's talk about health management and physical therapy, different things like that. We like to have a full round perspective. Like, yes, you like this, but do you know it touches all these different things related to the healthcare field? So any other questions? I know I missed some people down here. Yes.
Yes, good morning. One of the items indicated there is family engagement.
Yes.
And there are, I suppose, expectations, okay, that you set, okay, for the parents to do so that the kids, if God's grace, if ever my daughter qualifies, I give to her, because it seems a lot of work on top of the things she needs to do for her school.
Okay.
So are there things that I need to do so that I can be guaranteed that she will not be breaking her spirit because she's the pleaser type of a child?
Got you. So what your question is really like, what does family engagement mean and what are we requiring from the parents?
Everything that I'm going to do.
So our family engagement, we really want to build it up. So right now, I'm working on formalizing the program, but what I see family engagement meaning is that I can call you and ask, is your child okay? So for instance, one student was sick on a Saturday in my class, and she's very, very bright and always interacting and participating in class, and she was sick. And then a week later, she comes back, she's still sick. So that's 7 days later. Another week, she's still sick. And I was like, I want your support in being able to call you and say, hey, I've seen your student has been sick for 2 weeks. What's going on? And that you'll be honest with us if you're having like financial barriers, or if you need more support for your student, or if you're having problems with your student at home, like they're not completing homework, they're talking back, they're not being the child that you expect them to be or raise them to be. That's what we mean by family engagement. Because honestly, we're with them 1 day a week during the school year, and that's 9 months. So
I was thinking that you will also be giving us the homework.
No. We do not expect you to do that. Our expectation is more of a relationship with the family so that we can know what the student needs. You know your kids better than we know them, and in some instances, we know them a little bit better than you, but we want to be able to hit them from both ends a little bit so that they are fully supported, not only by our program, and we know, like, there's different things that you may not know about college or about financial aid or about different opportunities in high school that they are able to have or in college, and so we want to educate you guys, because at the end of the day, you're their parents, and we do not want to replace that role. So with family engagement, our goal is to build the strongest foundation that we can for the students, and that includes families. So maybe they have a sibling that they're really close to. We'll talk to them as long as we can get the student to do what they need to do. So family engagement doesn't require more from you. What I'm really asking is for a relationship that I can text you, I can call you, and you can ask and make sure your student completed something that I asked him to do 3 days ago. Things like that. Yes. In the series of homework, are you allowed to help them? Yes, please. please help them. The goal is for them to learn, and we will test them in the program, but they never will have to do it on their own. And that's what we're teaching them, like, especially in the healthcare field, it's all collaborative work. So if you know something, like we give them Algebra 1 / like they go through a whole new math series once they come to merit because they need to do well on the SAT, and the homework problems that we give them, they need help. And so if you can help them, that's great, because otherwise they're going to be calling me at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm going to have to brush up on my algebra skills.
What is the timeline for like the acceptance process? Like when
Acceptance
process.
Got it. I have a paper for that. And of course, I don't have that sheet of paper. We're going to send you the exact timeline, but from what I can exactly remember is they have another session, another tryout on December the 2nd, and then they come back on December the 9th, and then we will notify them, I believe, by the 18th if they got into the program, and then we let them have their whole Christmas break and leave them alone. And when they come back, we have our induction and some training for them. Which is January 13th. But we're going to send a full detailed calendar with all the days, times, and locations outlined.
How are mentors selected if your child makes it into the program? How is a mentor?
Awesome. So right now, I just want to say I'm a new staff member and I've been here for 3 months. I came in to really see what we needed for support. So right now, they will be in mentor groups. And in that mentor group, they have 3 mentors. They have someone who's really good at pushing academics, like, you need to get straight A's. Or some students, it's turning that C into a B, but they are really focused on academics. But then they have another person that finds opportunities for them. Hey, oh my goodness, I see this internship. You should apply for it. I'm going to help you fill out the application. Or you should go present your research at this different conference. Got it all figured out. You just got to go. I'll go with you. Different things like that. So opportunities. And then finally, social emotional support. Hey, I hear that you haven't really been participating in Saturday sessions. I hear that your parents are having problems with you. So what's going on? Those are the 3 things that I think students need. So they need to be pushed academically. They need to have someone that's going to find opportunities for them and make them take those opportunities. And then finally, they need that social emotional support, someone that they can turn to for that. And all students will be put in a small group, and they have those 3 mentors that they can turn to. On top of that, they have advisors, so which are all our staff members, and they manage that to make sure that the people that we ask to be their mentors are doing their job. So we track their process, their progress throughout it.
I think that's important too, because maybe one, will mesh, you'll mesh better with one.
Exactly.
That's all I was trying to see if it's a personality match because,
So we consider personality, but honestly, we're moving away from that because we realize that students want friends. And we don't want your mentor to be your friend. We want your mentor to take you from, a 2.8 to a 3.5. Like, we want your mentor to take you from being shy to speak to you're talking to crowds of over 200 people. So we want to see results. And if that makes them a little uncomfortable, it's okay. They don't like a lot of things that we do, but by the end of this process, they're really grateful. Other questions?
I'm kind of an outsider trying to learn about this in a sense. 35 would make it great, the 25 would don't. Is there some type of,
So,
afterwards,
right.
where they don't feel defeated, they don't want to move in, or suggestions to another program, or they feel that they don't want to pursue their medical ambitions because I'm not good enough?
For this program. As of right now, we do not offer any other support to the 25 who do not get in. With that being said, on a one-on-one basis, I recruited your students, so they know my face. They can reach out to us for different things, like saying that they're interested, and it's a possibility that we will help them. I'm not guaranteeing, but as far as like connecting them to other programs, resources, different things like that, that's what we try to do, but it's not formalized in any way. But if they reach out to us, I'm not the type of person that's going to be like, no, I don't have time for you. I will tell them other programs that can help them, other opportunities that our students get to go to, and different things like that.
And another form of the question is could be devastating to some of the individuals.
That is a tough pill to swallow. So the question is, so what happens to the 25 or so students who don't get into the program? Do we offer them any type of support? And the reality is no, and a little bit or some. So if your student reaches out to us and say that they're interested in participating in maybe a research symposium that we have, or we post something online about summer internships and how they can get involved, that may be an opportunity, but they do not get our formalized programming. And with that being said, is how do we deal with the 25 students who may feel defeated and not want to enter the healthcare professions after this? Throughout this whole interview process and this tryout process, we do not want to break your child's spirit. That's not our goal. And I'm pretty sure they will learn something along the way. In addition to that, the students who are in the program, we always encourage them to reach out to other students who are interested in the health sciences and continue to support them.
Can I ask you about funding? This program, it appears to be quite expensive to undertake. You're doing a tremendous job, offering a tremendous resource, but it doesn't come.
For free.
I mean, the students don't have to pay.
No.
Somebody does. Where's the funding coming from?
It is coming from which is the Maryland State Department of Education, which is our largest grant. In addition to that, we get money from Hopkins, and we continue to apply for grants. So Alex Batson is our grant writer, and he's phenomenal. So that is how we sustain our programming. And just a heads up, our program is financially stable for at least the next 5 years, meaning that we have that money in the bank.
I have a question. Let's say my student is accepted into the program and she attends a 5-week session. She's currently bilingual in Chinese. Will she be able to get that throughout the 5-week course as well? Like, will she still be able to work on her Chinese?
So is she in another program where she works on her Chinese?
She was in a language immersion program. She's been learning since the 2nd grade. So she reads, writes, and speaks Chinese.
Got it. Once again, that's like a one-on-one thing, seeing how the programming works and the scheduling to see how we can make sure that they align and work together. But we definitely would want to encourage her to pursue that. And at Hopkins, when you get into the research especially, there are more international people. And so that would be a great skill set for her to have in the lab setting and research setting. So seeing how we can give her opportunities to practice that a little bit more is definitely something we can do. And we try to connect. So we are asset-based development program. So we don't try to look at everything that your student has going wrong. We try to look at their skill sets that they already have and how can we capitalize on that and refine that so that it kind of helps you lift your other things that you feel that you're weak in. So it seems like she's really been developing this language skill, and there's so many language and communication barriers. So that really opens up her opportunities to go into different labs because she can communicate in more than one way, which is great. Back here? Yes.
So my question is, once you narrow down the final 35,
Yes.
hypothetically, if a parent and a child decides, you know what, merit is really not the best fit for me of those 35, do you extend it to any of the other people that didn't get in?
Yes. So at the end of the day, we are taking 35 students. And so there's kind of a gap in between the time where you have to say yes and we have to have our final 35. So we usually select 35 complete yeses and then put about 5 on the wait list. We usually don't tell them because we don't want to give them this false sense of hope. But we will have 35 students at the end of the day by January 13th.
Once accepted in the program, are there any basic requirements for grades so they will not be kicked out from the program?
We do not have an academic requirement right now. With that being said, the number one requirement is let us know. So they have to submit their transcripts, but we understand different things happen. Like maybe one of your parents gets really sick and is in the hospital for a very long time. Maybe there are financial struggles where someone like the main breadwinner in the house is not doing maybe lost their job or something. So we understand. We want you, this is where the family engagement comes in. So if you guys hit a road, a block in the road like that, please let us know so that we can still support your child. If that's picking your kid up on a Saturday or Friday or Thursdays after school and we're going to Starbucks so they can do their homework, that's possible. But it's different things like that that we need to know to overcome those academic barriers. Or if you feel that they are dyslexic or have a learning disability or something like that, like be open and honest with us so we can find resources to get them help.
One more. Once you graduate from the program, are there any basic or automatic benefits that we can get in college, like the merit is giving?
So the question was, once they graduate from high school and enter college, are there any guaranteed benefits that they get from merit? So they automatically enter our alumni program. That means that they get a check-in every 2 weeks from us. On top of that, every time they come home, so Christmas and Thanksgiving, we have meetings that they need to attend and come see Merit. I'm not exactly sure what the summer schedule looks like, but we are creating a formal, so our program is only 7 years old, so we're just kind of getting to the point where we really have enough students in college where it's not just one person offering them support, but we are very active in supporting them. So right now that support is phone calls and, hey, what's going on in this class and different things like that. But as we move forward, we're hoping to give them more like substantial resources, like maybe a book scholarship. We give them a resume, which is really helpful, and ensure when they go to school, they also have a job on the first day of school too. So different things like that, connecting them to opportunities and resources. And the biggest thing is we connect them to a mentor or something at their campus. We don't try to send our students to places where we don't have support or we don't have connections. In addition to that, that doesn't mean we're going to limit your student. That just means that we're going to have to hustle up and find that mentor, connection, or support if it's not at their school. Mm-hmm. Yes.
2 questions. I want to clarify the absences.
Yes.
Is that one per year?
So it's per year. So we work like the school year, August to, May? Yes. Is that it? No, that is not the truth. Yeah, so they're in our program for about 10 months. And during that time period, they get one excused absence, one unexcused absence. But if there is an extenuating circumstance, like a death in the family, different things like that, we will not include that in the absences. Yes.
Okay, so was that, like the youth work thing, I know that in the summertime, I know they had 2 5-week sessions, let's just say they got into that, my daughter didn't get it, she wasn't old enough, but, does it usually, calendar-wise, does it usually fall around the same time, or?
So I know, yes. Yeah, they don't necessarily need the youth works thing, and we work with them on an individual basis. So all of our sophomores, when they go into the summer, it's the same internship. Like they're shadowing the 20 doctors, and we pay them. So that's that. The second year is a little bit different. It depends on what organization they're working at. So we have some students at Planned Parenthood. Some are working with the city health department. Some are working with the mayor's office. Some are in research labs. So it depends. We figure out all the logistics. As of right now, they get $1,100 for those 5 weeks, but it goes up with minimum wage, and we're always negotiating for our students to get more. With that being said, where we need parent help is during their second summer when they're shadowing and they make that $1,100. We're trying to make it mandatory for them to save half of it for their college applications when they come up the next year, because we're seeing that as a financial barrier and students don't want to apply because we don't currently offer support in paying for like SAT. So every school that you send your SAT to out of 4 schools is $12. On top of that, application fees range from $25 to $150. And so keeping that in mind, we want them to save the money so that they can use it for that. Any other questions? What'd you say? Mm-hmm. What part of the summer does that kind of run? So I know it's all of June, in like 2 weeks in July. And it's usually around that same time period because we want to give them a little break once they get out of school, but not too long where they feel like they don't need to do work. And then we want to give them at least 5 weeks to spend time with their family and enjoy their summer and have a little break before they start back the school year. So I don't know the exact dates, but I know it starts early June right now and it ends like July 15th, something like that. Any other questions? Okay, so if you do have any other questions, I believe in your packet, you've been given some contact information. On top of that, I do have a survey for you guys to complete that the students need to. You guys didn't get a packet?
No, the only ones that got packets were the student kids.
So in your student's packet, there's contact information. I know there's a packet around here somewhere. We made those yesterday. So with that, there's contact information on that. Also on our website, there's contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to call, text, email me, and I will pass out some surveys. This is for your student to bring back. This is a parent survey. We have to report our data so we have money to help your kids.
When they're in the
this is just a survey for you to really look at the time commitment. So we're going to email you the schedule. And so if you see any scheduling conflicts, we will know that from the beginning. Yeah, you're going to get emailed that today. There you go. And your student has to return it on the 9th. Two.
On the 9th or the 2nd?
9th. Yep. And if we are at a different location, we have your students come here first and then we figure it out. Because we don't want them lost over Baltimore City. 1, 2. So the school was supposed to give them a bus pass, but right now we are subsidizing that. So we give them tokens. They have to come see me, and I give them tokens every weekend. It used to cover the weekends, but it no longer does. They're supposed to give them like a green thing, but apparently that program has been shut down. We're working on it, but right now we're providing support. So if they're having transportation issues, they can just call me, and I will make sure they get here at no cost to you. I believe it ends at 1 o'clock today. I don't think that'll be a problem. So if there's a couple students that need some now, that's fine. Any other questions? Some students take public transportation. So if their parents can't bring them and we know they're taking public transportation and the school doesn't provide it, we pay for it. Correct. So please, if you have any other questions, feel free to email, text, call, and thank you so much. Oh, sorry. What? There's a step there.